Agricultural industry is really the reason why these birds are here. If we did not have a dairy industry in the state of Vermont, there would be no grassland songbirds. And so there's really this very tight relationship between bobolink savanna sparrows and the agricultural industry. And as that industry thrived, even more so 50 or 100 years ago, we had even higher populations of these birds. And as we've seen a decline in dairy farms, number of farms has decreased, the numbers of farmers have decreased, a lot of this land is reverted to forest, the populations of these species has declined in the Northeast and in Vermont similarly.
Bobolinks and savanna sparrows are both using the hayfields for breeding, and they're completely reliant upon it. They feed in grasslands, they nest in grasslands directly on the ground, and it's really unusual that they're such intense specialists. They won't go in shrubs to nest, and as soon as a field becomes too shrubby, they won't use it at all for reproduction.
So these species need at least 42 days to complete their nesting cycle. They have to build the nest, lay eggs, incubate the eggs, care for the young while they're still in the nest, and then once those birds leave the nest, it takes another week or so for them to actually become independent from their parents and be able to fly around the field. Our typical cutting cycles in the Champlain Valley are more like 35 days, so there really just is not enough time, especially if these fields are intensively managed, not enough time for these birds to complete their nesting cycle before the next cut comes around.
Dairy farmers are under a lot of pressure to maximize the use of their land. They have to make payments on all their land and their equipment, and that's at odds with managing the land for grassland birds.
By delaying their cuts, which would be better for the songbirds, they radically decrease the quality of their forage. So for a lot of these farmers, it's probably impossible, at least on their most productive lands, for them to do something that's really going to greatly benefit these birds. On the other hand, there's a lot of farmers out there who have got wet fields, they've got fields that are typically not particularly productive, and those fields, it's possible for them to manage in a different way that might be helpful for these songbirds.
The big picture is that these birds are declining continentally. And so looking at Vermont and the Champlain Valley, we have a really great opportunity with 360,000 acres of managed grassland to create a really positive reserve for these species